Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Yes, good evening and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand, with the host, AGT. And to my side, I have Theo Woods, part of the Kop Kids Collective. I've also got his buddy, Welford TV there, and the main D-man, Darren Whelan, all the way from Dublin. Lads, 3-1 again, another away win in London just a few days after the first one. Brilliant result for Liverpool. If you are watching now, guys, please do us a favour. Drop us a little like. Doesn't take long, a little click. And I'm also getting into the habit of actually tagging all of you boys' YouTube channels in the actual titles. I know I need to do that. But yes, Theo, Welford, Darren here with me as we have another post-match reaction show for you. A few comments coming in already. Nico buzzing after that away win, as is David. He says hello to the lads there, and Nico says we are coming for the top. We are coming from the top, not far away now. Right, we're going to get into Darren first. We've got a new format on the show. It's not just a free-for-all big ramble about, you know, whatever you want to talk about. We're actually going to have some focus and, you know, some structure to the show tonight. So do get involved. If you are liking it, show us some love in the comments as Liverpool rejoice in another away victory. But Darren, what is your headline for tonight? And I know you're good at these, so I'm expecting a lot.
Rapid, rampant, resilient Reds hammers in the capital. Champions just in style. Yeah, now champion style today. We had a finesse. We had our aura back. It was majestic. It was marvellous. He was momentous. He was magic. He was Mo. I mean, unbelievable. Crisp, sharp. What a counter-attack that was for second goal. First goal was typical Mo. Second was unbelievable. 21 goals this season, 15 in the league, one season wonder. Get in. It was exceptional, lads. A finesse or a huge statement tonight. It was all back. It was clinical tonight. It was ruthless. A lot of injuries as well. Some people say, well, our three centre-backs were injured tonight. We'd Mane out. We'd made a couple of changes. With Henderson, with Fabinho with Henderson, who makes us tick, who's so influential in midfield, playing a centre-back tonight, and him and Matt Phillips were absolutely awesome tonight. So
yeah, listen, we will get into the lineup reaction shortly. I know you have to run off with it. That was a very headline in the end, but let's try and keep our answers until the next one there. But Theo, what is your headline of this evening?
I think I'll probably go with goal of the season. Because for me, that counter-attack, up till now, it's like I think it's the best goal we scored all season. It was just brilliant. But I'll probably speak on that later.
Yeah, love that. Big shout there for goal of the season. Welford, what is your headline?
Keep it simple. The Reds love the capital. Easy.
Yeah, the Reds love the capital. Like that. Right, so let's get into the lineup reaction. I mean, big shout there from Welford, and maybe an hour or two before kickoff. Apparently, there was no Sadio Mane for tonight. He was correct. Divock Origi came in. Shaq came in. But Darren, no Taki Minamino again for Liverpool tonight, not from the 11 or the bench, but Nat Phillips, a.k.a. Nat Beckenbauer, was absolutely brilliant tonight. But before we go in to talk about their individual performances, what was your lineup reaction, Darren?
I'm not too surprised because with the games coming thick and fast now, and obviously after next week, it eases the pressure a little bit because there's not too many games. I think once we get that Champions League game against Leipzig out of the way, then there's kind of one game a week. Now and again, there'll be two. So it's just the way Jurgen and the lads will like it. Plenty of rest, recovery, concentration, focus for all the games. I think they've done enough to get a start. I think when he's come on of late, he's been mobile. He's been showed some enthusiasm. And security, we know who can tread a ball through an eye of a needle, and he actually done quite well when he started a couple of weeks ago against United. So yeah, I was okay with the team selection. Last couple of seasons we went to West Ham, we've done really well. We've went there and scored goals for fun. It has been rapid, it has been rampant, it has been resilient, and you know we've hammered hammers again. So not too surprised, to be honest. I would have been more surprised if Nat Phillips hadn't started, because I think he done well when he replaced Joel Giranoi, and I think he's been brilliant whenever he's come in this season. Man the match at home to West Ham, man the match away to West Ham, man the match away to Brighton.
Sorry, do you know what?
We're choking a bit there.
I finished the rest of my beer. They must have gone down the wrong hole. Do apologise, Stephen. Thanks for making sure I'm all right. Can't die.
I just rolled with it.
Yeah, no, roll with it. Love that, Darren. Ever the professional. Theo, your lineup reaction tonight. I mean, I said in the last game that we should have started Nat from the start. Imagine if he had started against United in the FA Cup as well. Brilliant. And what was your lineup reaction?
To be honest, my initial reaction was I started getting flashbacks of that Burnley game where Origi missed, and and then I was questioning why Minamino's not starting over Origi now. But then I could see why. Obviously, West Ham being a very physical team, and Minamino I don't really think he has the build to come up against a team like that and play at the best of his abilities. But I was happy with Nat Phillips centre back because I thought perfect game for him, as we saw that was. And then other than that, just I'm glad to see Shaqiri getting more chances as well, because I feel like he deserves them.
Welford.
Theo and Darren have just touched on basically everything. But it was when I first seen the team, I was a bit weird, a bit strange about Firmino. Obviously, past 2 months, we've not seen the best Bobby, but I feel like for me, that Tottenham game, he was back to his best. So I feel like for me, there was a bit strange to leave him out. I was a bit like, maybe I would have understood if he didn't have such a good game against Tottenham. But in my eyes, he had a very, very good game. But it didn't really matter in the end. We got the 3 points, which was massive. And with Minamino, Klopp normally always picks Minamino over Shaqiri and Origi normally. So obviously we've seen that at Palace away when he had a really good game in there. A bit of a strange one. I would like to see Minamino come in, especially with being the so-called winger, and he could definitely fill in that left side. I think, and he could do maybe a better job than Origi. But Origi did all right for me today. But the starting 11 was great, and Nat Phillips always slag off. Again, proved me wrong twice.
I don't know why he did it, man.
Phenomenal.
I would say the 3 games he's played in. I mean, he's got man of the match in the 2 others. There's a big shout for him to be that tonight. Obviously, Mo Salah will get the headlines deservedly for 2 unbelievable goals, but good to understand what everyone was feeling like when the lineup came out. I mean, for me personally, to see Origi starting was the only thing that I maybe raised an eyebrow around. I really would have liked to have seen Taki start, for instance, but I think we all just assumed that Bobby would have started tonight. But the substitutions were unreal. Let's get into the first half action. I mean, superb defensively. I can't really remember a big chance apart from that one that was deflected by Robertson or deflected by Milner onto Robertson that he headed away, that 4-0 shot. Apart from that, Darren, Nat and Hendo, fantastic communication between them the whole of the first half.
Yeah, superb, Alex. Very heroic performance from both of them. I think for Henderson, he's obviously been very underrated for a couple of seasons now, but this season he epitomises the player that he is, and the attitude and ability and even the technical ability he has. I mean, to come in from being one of the best midfielders around in Europe, particularly not just last season, I'd say in the last 3 seasons, even when we went to Kiev that year, he was immense. And to come in and be a centre-back, which no one really wants to be a centre-back when they're a midfielder, he's come in and done really well there. And we've had, 16 defensive partnerships this season, where we went through the whole of last season with 3 and won the league. So it's not easy for anybody. It hasn't been easy for young Reece, for Nat Phillips, for Fabinho, for Joel, Virg, Joe Gomez being in there. But I mean, when you look at Virgil van Dijk and Rolls-Royce, probably I would say 30 or 40% of the team he is. You know what I mean? That alone. Gomez out, Matip out, Fabinho out, who went in there and was a wall as well. So it's just been huge credit to the lads, huge credit to Jurgen and the system he's went with, and the trust he's had in the players and the unity they have. And it's not been easy for anybody, lads, and it hasn't been easy for us as fans to watch, and it has been frustrating seeing so many changes and to see the inexperience of Nat and Reece having to be heavily relied upon in a season where we obviously want to win a Premier League title and we want to win a Champions League. But look, it is what it is, and of late they've proven their worth. And I think going to Spurs was really tough, but coming to Hammers today was probably even tougher. And it's another game where we beat David Moyes, another game where we hammer Hammers. All's well, ends well.
That's it. Theo, in terms of the first half chances for us, they were quite limited. A couple of snapshots from Origi and Salah maybe, but we were solid defensively. I would say the whole half. I think the communication between Hendo and Nat Phillips was excellent. Ginny working as ever. Then the second half starts, and then we really do start well. And then obviously Jurgen Klopp makes an incredible substitution. Theo brings off Milner, and they have a bit of a word on the sideline. But then straight away, and was it Theo or Welford that said, when Curtis Jones is in the team, Liverpool score? Who was it out of you two? One of you said it.
I think that's Theo. Wasn't me.
I can't remember saying that.
I think that was
I
me
can't
that said
remember.
that, yeah.
Was that you, Darren? Yeah.
Yeah. When he
There you
starts,
go.
the stats are we win more games. Yeah, he's just
There you
has
go.
that bit
So-
more drive. Yeah.
So Theo, when Curtis Jones comes on, I mean, the graphic of him coming on as a sub with his name and number is hardly even gone away, and he's already making a ball through and gets an assist straight away. Salah with an excellent goal, Theo.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Brilliant to see Milner and Klopp celebrating after.
Having a laugh.
Yeah, it didn't look like a row, but it looked like, I don't know, Milner was maybe questioning why he got taken off. But yeah, Curtis Jones, especially for his age, where he can develop really well. He was brilliant tonight. I thought, not only with the assist, but with his hold up play towards the end as well. I really thought he did nice.
Yeah, Welford, unreal couple of days there for Curtis Jones. Just turned 20. Came on as a sub today, sets up the first goal, which leads us on our way. But I think it was around the 65th minute mark when that first one went in. Liverpool did need a goal at the time. Salah gets too much space, and it's inevitable once he swings that leg back where that ball's going.
Yeah, definitely. That was again a bit like Spurs on Thursday, a typical Mo Salah goal from like 2 years ago when not many people knew he was, what his play style was, what he did, where he'd cut in on that left foot and find the top left. We've seen it a couple of times this season, Palace especially away, but he's been shut down a couple of times because people know about him. He's been doing it for the last 2 years and he scored some ridiculous goals in the Champions League, in the league, and a lot of people know about it now, but the one time Cresswell doesn't get over to him enough, doesn't close him down enough, nice little bit of skill, and it's a lovely goal. And yeah, that really proper set the team up now, and we needed that goal, as you said. And then the floodgates started opening, we started hunting them down a bit more, being a lot more clinical late on. And that second goal was just wow, what a goal!
Yeah, Darren, you made the point about Curtis Jones that when he is on the pitch, Liverpool look like they're going to score more goals. That was the case tonight. Came on, did the business, give it to Mo, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, he was only on probably less than a minute, a couple of seconds even, wasn't it? And it was great to see the little, I suppose, humorous on the sideline with James Milner and Jurgen Klopp. Gary Neville tried to store it a bit, didn't he, by saying, "Oh, was that a row?" He kind of trying to just wind us up a bit. Yeah, absolutely. No, look, Jonesy, only 20 yesterday. What a player, what a prospect. And I've always said about Curtis that if he'd have played in a couple of seasons ago for us in the Liverpool team where competition wasn't as stern and we hadn't got the exceptional players, particularly in midfield, what we have this season. I mean, we've probably 8 or 9 exceptional midfielders on that day when they're fit. And he's still getting in the team. He's still making appearances. He's still coming on in games, still making a difference. And it's just credit to him. I mean, he's potentially going to be world class. And if he'd have played 3 or 4 seasons ago or even beyond that in the Brendan Rodgers era, he would have been probably at the age he is now, had a lot more appearances, more contribution. But it's credit to him to have the competition that he has and still be in amongst the first team. It's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Because we've some quality midfielders there. It's just obviously we've had a lot of injuries this season with Naby Keita out. Milner's obviously only getting older as well, so he has to be given time. But I'm sure Curtis will say to him later, age has got the better of you now, James, and your 551st appearance today. Exceptional by him too. Yeah.
Bit disrespectful now, but listen, 1-0, we're totally in control, and then all of a sudden, under pressure as well, West Ham strung together a few moments there of crossing and making us really work airily. They get a corner, Bowen takes it, it's cleared to Trent, and he finds Shaqiri on that left-hand side. And what I can only describe is pinpoint. That pass was absolutely unbelievable. I think the commentator, Martin Tyler, said as well, to hit that first time with all the wind and the rain in the air and for Salah to bring that down, unbelievable finish, Theo. I mean, he brings it down on his right and finishes it on his left. What a finish. Great counter-attacking goal.
Yeah, it was brilliant. The move, it was 3 brilliant things. It was the pass from Trent over to Shaqiri, and then he puts it into Salah, and then the best part of that goal was him touching it down, and it was just such a tidy finish from him. And yeah, in the position he was in, for him to take it down and get his shot away with the keeper coming towards him, that's for me why I was saying that could potentially be our goal this season.
Do you know what? That goal super reminds me of was it Salah's or Shaqiri's away goal at Burnley a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah.
When they have a corner. You remember?
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish.
Yeah.
Unbelievable finish that was tonight from Salah. And, you know, when he runs off to celebrate these goals, I think, you know, he absolutely hates the fact that there's no fans there to get involved, because he really was one to kind of do a certain type of celebration, whatever it was on the day. But now he kind of runs off. So that's 2-0. I mean, Welford, that finish, I mean, the touch, the pass from Shaqiri, the touch, and then the finish, unbelievable.
Yeah, proper old school Liverpool goal. Like you said, Burnley a couple of years ago. Just proper counter-attacking, and we're under a lot of pressure. So that goal is probably the biggest of the game, the best and the biggest of the game, in my opinion. The West Ham starting to string a couple of passes together. They had a couple of set pieces, a couple of corners, and they're getting a little bit worrying. They're getting back-to-back corners and stuff like this.
Yeah.
But I feel for set pieces, other than obviously the goal, we did quite well. But yeah, that counter-attack was typical Liverpool. But for me, when I seen Trent boot it, I was like, well, where's this going? And then it just went to Shaqiri. Then I was like, that was Shaqiri. I was surprised he put it up and over instead of maybe like trying to bend it round. And that touch was absolutely ridiculous. We know Salah is not the best with his right foot, we'll say that. And the way he just touches it down, and the dink as well, just to have the composure to take the touch and to dink it over. And that goal really won us the game, in my opinion, because we were under quite a bit of pressure by West Ham, starting to get into the game a bit more with the set pieces, which we know they were good at. But yeah, that goal was massive in terms of the results tonight, in my opinion. That was a great goal to get it in as well.
Darren, unbelievable finish from Salah. Finally, there's a game where we score 3 goals, and none of them are VAR contenders. All straight away, you know that they count. What a finish from Salah for the second one, and to round off an incredible brace tonight.
Yeah, it was reminiscent to the goal he got away at West Ham. Then we were in the orange strip, was it in 2017-18 season? We went and it was kicks, counter-attack. Yeah, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain played a big part in it. But yeah, unbelievable. I mean, Chris, sharp, majestic, momentous, all the M words I can use finally on this show, Alex, and it relates to momentous Mo. And look, we were all a little bit pessimistic on this show a few weeks ago, a little bit. And I was probably the only one, and at times I felt it hard to be positive, but it just shows again, and it just shows in what I was saying, this Liverpool team, it's going nowhere. They are exceptional. It's the best Liverpool team of my era, if any user era. And I mean, like, for us to be a little bit pessimistic in a blip, maybe we're mad to be. I had a couple of people saying, that's a crazy Irish man from Dublin. Is he on dust? Well, another one bites the dust. I mean, there we are tonight. 3 points, clinical, rapid, rampant, resilient Reds. Go, hammer, hammers. I mean, you know, and I was on it, and I was feeling a little bit myself. I'm a bit deluded here, you know what I mean? But no, absolutely not. I mean, they were 2 huge tests, Alex, and we overcame those 2 huge tests. And I think if we had had a little bit more swagger and confidence, and our mojo, we was even a little bit higher, we might have even got 5 or 6 tonight. And it's the same as Spurs tours tonight. It's not easy going into a game, particularly at London, where Spurs were, you would say, in a bit of form. We go there and played them off the field and done well, considering there was a drop of the heads after a few minutes when Son's goal went to VAR. And then to come out today against a really resilient West Ham team. It's David Moyes' 35th game in charge of against Liverpool. He's won 4 against us. The last game he beat us, and you remember, it was Old Trafford, September 2013, the League Cup. I think Hernandez scored. So, I mean, we've his card marked. He's never actually won either as a opposition manager at Anfield. So, look, all's well, ends well, lads, and it's another great day in the capital. And it's, the Reds go marching on.
That is so true. Liverpool now only 4 points behind Man City. And obviously we play them this time next week, or we would have played them already this time next week. But Theo, to talk about how many centre-back partnerships we've had this season and to still be able to perform like that against, let's not lie to you, a team that is banging form, West Ham, Souček, 10 goals this season already, I think. You've obviously got Antonio, who's got 5 in 8 against Liverpool. You had Ben Rama, who was excellent last season. You had Bowen, who was really quick. The fact that Nat Phillips and Henderson dealt with all of that with ease tonight just shows how good a job Jurgen Klopp is doing, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. And the thing that impressed me the most was when I looked at the team, I was thinking, right, we've got Henderson at the back here, and we've got very tall and strong players in that West Ham team who could cause a problem. especially from corners and set pieces. But apart from that one at the end where they did score, pretty much every other corner that they seem to deal with, and Nat Phillips was exceptional. Every time Antonio got through, he seemed to just shut him down in a matter of seconds. And yeah, it was a brilliant performance from Henderson and Phillips tonight.
Yeah, Welford. I mean, David makes a great point here. A side that has never played together before tonight, yet they played like LFC plays. I mean, the title of this video, Welford, is Back to Our Best. Are we now back to our best? Are we playing the type of football now that you recognise as title winning or at least title contending type of football?
Definitely up there. It's a bit rushed in my opinion. I know Darren might not agree with this, Mr. Positivity, but like for me, it's just a little bit rushed. I think we've got this next section of games is where we're really going to tell if we can go and do it again. And I feel like for me, we're just below the bar of our best. I feel like today was very, very good performance, but I feel like for me, it's just a tiny bit like in the next gear we still haven't got in yet this season. But I feel like the past 2 games this week have really, really put my mind into a great place, and I really think that we can go on. But I feel like for me, the moment we've got through a very, very tough patch, and we did a show after one game a couple weeks ago, Alex, and you asked us how many points would we expect. I was quite negative, only saying 7 because I expected us to slip up after one of these games. But Liverpool have done very, very well and managed to get 2 wins on the back. But I feel like for me, it was a great performance, but a lot of people are saying on the side there's no Mane today, who people would have seen as our main attacker or one of our best players. But I feel like for me, the next couple of games, you've got like City, Leicester, we've got Leipzig in the Champions League. If we can bang through some results out there, which I think we definitely can, we'll be definitely favourites to win this league, and fingers crossed we can retain it. And I feel like for me, after these 2 performances, it put my mind in a great place to see that we can do it again, and I think hopefully we will.
Darren, your thoughts?
I agree with Welford, actually. I do Welford. I think our intensity and energy is back. I think that aura, that finesse is back, but I still think we can do that bit better. I think we're not going to get carried away here. I still think City, like looking at yesterday, they won 1-0. It was a typical championship winning performance where you just about come out with a result, but you don't concede and you get 3 points. And the most important thing of all these games is, lads, is the outcome. It doesn't matter how you do or what happens, how the game goes. It's all about the outcome, and the outcome is 3 points. And I do feel that the cream will rise to the top. I think it'll be ourselves and City as the season goes on. But it is a strange, crazy, mad season, and you just don't know who's going to be who's going to drop points where and when. But I'm not going to get carried away with it. But I'm really, really pleased, and again, it reassures me to be strung out on the positivity and keep going and looking forward. And I've full faith in Jurgen Klopp and what he's doing, and in this Liverpool team. But there is still a long way to go. We're just going above the halfway mark now of the season, and obviously we still have our problems injury-wise, a lot of muscle injuries as well, and centre-back, which is something I'm sure we'll tip on. But we need that sorted yet.
Yeah, 2-0 then. Mo Salah with 2, and then all of a sudden he's involved again. The Ox is involved again. 2 fantastic subs today from Jurgen Klopp in terms of Ox and Curtis Jones as well. But Theo, nice to see Ginny get another goal away from home. Does the old Virgil celebration straight away. He's obviously missing his bro. But that made it 3-0. And it wasn't really surprising at the time. Obviously, we did concede after that, but nice to see Ginny score for you.
Yeah, it's always nice to see him score. It was a brilliant little flick as well to create the goal from Chamberlain as well. And yeah, always good to see him score. He's a brilliant player. It's sad that we're probably going to see him leave at the end of the season. Because our FSG, they're not giving the money, and as Doyle said before, just give him the dough, lad.
Just give him the dough,
Doyle.
Doyle. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, good goal though, and topped off a great performance.
Yeah, tidy finish, Welford, from Ginny. Key player for us, has really gone under the radar for his whole Liverpool career, you could argue. But now I think even an example like today shows you that this kid is so needed. And everyone thought, didn't they, it would have to be Ginny goes if Thiago stays. It looks like those two are really creating some kind of nice relationship there now, Welford.
Yeah, definitely. The midfield's so balanced, in my opinion. The 3 that were in the midfield today and the other day have been absolutely phenomenal. both, I'd give them all a 10 out of 10 for today's performance. They might not have been as good as against Spurs, but just generally like what they do, getting the ball and just covering the runs of Trent and Robbo. They're everywhere on the pitch and how fit, and they're always giving it for the full 90 minutes they all played over the Milner. They always keep on fighting. They're always winning challenges and stuff. And as you said, Gini and Thiago especially made a very, really, really good relationship in effect for me. If we can start getting some games, wins and stuff, and he can start scoring goals, will that maybe tempt him to say to stay? I honestly don't know, but for me, he's going to be a massive, one of the biggest players. He's always, for me, one of the first names on the team sheet. He's always fit, touch wood yet again. He's not, the last time I had an injury was like 2 years ago, but for me, yeah, it's going to be a really, really weird team without Genie, and fingers crossed we can keep hold of him. I just think FSG, like Theo said, need to get, given the money, he's definitely worth it, and yeah, it's just really going to be a shame to see him go, but yeah, again, class. He's one of the best players on the pitch every single game, and you can't fault him for what he's done for this football club. He's been a massive part of it over the past 5 years.
Yeah, Darren, obviously disappointing to concede that goal from Dawson at the end there. Good trickles across the box, but let's not take away from the fact that Ginny, put us 3 goals in front against a team that, like I said, were about to win 5 games in a row if it wasn't for us. 8 wins in the last 9 against West Ham now, Darren. That 3rd goal just topped things off. Beautiful finish. And apparently the passing up to that goal was 34. There was 34 passes in the build-up to the 3rd goal with Ginny. So, hugely direct, and what a finish.
Yeah, it was 34 as well, Alex, just to clarify that. Genius from Genie. I mean, what a player we've had in the last couple of seasons, lads. I think you touched on it a while ago, Alex, saying he finds space in the phone box. He's that good. And I seen on Instagram the other day, Liverpool, the official, had it up, his little shimmy in a Spurs. I mean, we've seen it at Barcelona, that kind of getting through 3 and 4 midfielders and just making them look like mugs. Brilliant, exceptional player. He's going to be badly missed if he does go. But look, I mean, we can't be too negative about Genie. I'm sure he wants a challenge. I think he'd be mad to go anywhere else except play for Liverpool. But I mean, who are we to question if he wants to go elsewhere and challenge? He's done everything that he's done for us, and at the moment he's even going above and beyond for us, which is brilliant. I remember when Emre Can was going on a free transfer, he kind of the standards weren't as good, and he dropped off a little bit towards the end because he knew he was going to go. So that does no give up with Genie. He's exceptional, and what a player. And look, I mean, it looks like he is going to go wherever, to talk of Barca, but hopefully there is some bit of hope there and he does stay. And we'll be all delighted if he does stay, and we want to sing a song as well, don't we? Georginio Wijnaldum.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So we all want to sing that. Yeah,
of course, man. I can't wait to be back in the pub singing that. So 3-1 in the end, lads. Pretty much a repeat of Thursday night against Tottenham. I wanted to ask you all who your player stock rising and player stock falling is. I mean, difficult to choose, player stock falling after a great win like that. But Theo, who's your one player today that their stock has definitely risen?
Probably the likes of Curtis Jones. Definitely. He's just showing everyone that he can fight for a place in that team. And he is capable to get a game in such a good Liverpool side. But in terms of who maybe their stock is going down, I'd probably have to say Origi, just because I think maybe the only reason he is currently getting games is maybe so that Klopp can show put him in the market window, showing teams do you want to come by, maybe he can prove to teams that he could be a good player for them. But I think he's, a few seasons ago he was a brilliant backup. We could bring him in and always rely on him to get a goal, but he seemed very slow tonight. That's one thing I did, especially when he was turning. That's one small negative in such a great performance, really.
Love that. So you've gone for Origi as the player whose stock is falling, and Curtis Jones as the one who is rising. Welford, the same question to you, mate, and then we'll get into some of the viewers' opinions too.
As if you're rising, it's got to be Phillips. I think for me, I've really put him down over the past couple of weeks when I've seen him play. I just feel like Still a bit shaky defensively, but again today, prove me wrong, was probably one of the best players on that pitch today. Everything winning his aerial battles, and there's a lot of pressure on him to do that today because he's obviously the tallest player we've got on the pitch. A lot of people put the faith in him to get rid of the balls and the set pieces to corners. But yeah, he was great. But I feel like for me, the one who's going down, I do have to say Origi. But for me, I've got to give Origi some credit. I feel like for me, he came in. He doesn't really play. He doesn't really start often. I feel like for me, we all expect him to come in and score a goal, which is very hard to do. We don't see Minamino doing it. We don't see Shaqiri coming in and scoring. And obviously, Shaqiri had a great assist and a great game overall. But I feel like for me, a lot of people just expect Origi to come in and to score. Like a lot of us, we feel like his time could be over. And a lot of people feel like that for me. But I feel like it's hard because how good our front three are. When one of them's missing and he has to replace one of them, it's just a high expectation. He has to live up to a big standard of scoring. But I feel like for me, I would have to say Origi, but I give him a little bit of credit where it's due. He did work hard today. He might not have got any involvement or had his best game, but it's so hard to come in and fill the boots of someone like Mane, who's one of the best attackers in the world. But I'd have to say Origi for going down.
Origi going down and Nat Phillips up. Darren, is that a bit of you as well?
Yeah, but I'm going to go for Salah on the rise. And the reason being is when we were a little bit pessimistic and we were going through that blip a few weeks ago, there was talk of Mo not being happy, wanting to go to Madrid. There was different sources saying different things. He's 15 Premier League goals, lads. He's the league's top goal scorer. Every season he's competing for it. He's 21 goals now in all competitions. Just over the halfway mark to a season where we have been a bit lackluster at the best of times. It definitely hasn't been the Liverpool swagger or Liverpool way, what we know of. But even though they're thereabouts at the moment, and I'm going to give it to Mo. I think tonight was, again, huge pressure on him to get something, especially when you look at the two changes made up front. He's up there with Shaq and he's up there with Div. And he had to obviously be on his A game. And I mean, he was on his A plus, wasn't he? So Salah, lads, our own fan base even, we probably do underestimate him a little bit, and we're probably not full of praise from as much as we should be. Just an unbelievable player. And that's why I give him all the M's, which I won't repeat again, connected to his name. I just love him. I just think he's crisp, he's sharp, he's that finesse, everything about him tonight. And he just plays with a smile on his face, even when he misses the most daftest of chances. I think it was a couple of years ago we seen him play and he was quite frustrating in a game, and it was away, wasn't it? It was in Austria in the Champions League, and he took it around the keeper and scored basically an impossible goal. And then he was missing sitters before that in Leipzig, and he's just going around on the pitch, always with a smile on his face, just such a humble player. He's changed the culture in many ways at Liverpool in terms of how our strikers are. And yeah, one on the rise. Div, I think it's a bit harsh saying he's on the low, but we obviously have to answer the question. And the reason being is, Alex has just echoing what the lad said there. It's very hard at this level to just be expected to come in and score goals, contribute and make a difference. If you're not playing consistently, you're not kind of coming on regularly, it is going to be difficult. And at the same time, Origi, he's a forgotten man until he came on the derby a couple of seasons ago against Everton. The latest of late goals at the Kop end, we've seen him score. And since then, he's been in and out of the team. He is a bit of a cult hero, but he hasn't really contributed as much as what we would have wanted him to in games he's played. But it is difficult when you're not playing regularly. And the competition there is should probably be better than what it is. There is a bit of drop off, but he's the one on the low, and Salah on the high. But there's so many of them you could say in the high. Curtis Jones and Phillips as well. I agree with all the lads are saying.
Yeah, brilliant actually for all of us to choose a different person. Nat Phillips, Curtis Jones and Salah all had fantastic games tonight. Brilliant. Let's get into some player ratings then, boys. I'm going to read out the name. You're going to say a number, and then I'll do the quick maths in my head, which is probably the average of that number, and we can discuss them as well. So Alisson today, wasn't challenged too much. There was a brilliant little bit where he kind of takes it round Antonio and knocks it out calmly from the back. We love to see that. Shout your numbers out for him.
7.5, I'd say. Does everything right yet again? First few
7.5,
yeah.
Same for you, Theo?
Yeah, I was going to go 8, but I'm at 7.5.
We'll go 7.75 then for Alisson. Obviously, a little blot on the record, because I'm sure he would have wanted that clean sheet, no doubt. He hasn't got that tonight, and Ederson really does pull away with the clean sheets now in the Premier League. But right back, Trent, finding himself much more now. It's like he's almost back to his normal self. A couple of games where him and Robertson just both weren't at it. But great tonight from Trent. What are your numbers, lads?
8.
8. Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
8's all round then from the boys.
Trent, he's
Love
back to
that.
himself.
Can't really disagree with that. Yeah, totally back to himself. Really loving Trent. And at centre back, let's go for Nat Phillips first. What do we reckon?
9.
8.
Very good.
9.
I give him a 9.
9.
Very good today.
I said 8, but yeah, can't disagree either. 9.
Yeah, I think 8.5 is probably the fair one there, to be honest. I think Nat Phillips has, I mean, if he's not got man of the match tonight, which would be understandable because of Salah, then to actually achieve 3 man of the matches in your 3 Premier League games.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually can't remember the last time anyone's done that, let alone Nat Phillips, with all due respect. North Red says, big Nat, I tip my hat. Great in the air, great subs. What a controlled performance. Perfectly summed up there from
Brilliant.
North Red. So Nat Phillips will give him an 8.5. Did very well against Antonio. And Jordan Henderson is partner tonight, who again isn't a centre back, neither is Fabinho, but still plays brilliantly back there tonight. We'd obviously prefer him to be in the midfield. What are we saying for him tonight, lads?
8.
8.
Yeah, 8. Good.
8 all round for Endo Welford.
Yeah.
Love that. 8 all round then for the skipper. Really impressive to know tonight that he also, I think, is now the 4th highest Premier League games now for Liverpool. Appearances, sorry. So yeah, he just
286 or something.
Yeah, 286. I think he's just overtaken Pepe Reina.
Yeah.
And he's still
catching
got
up.
Sammy Hupia,
Yeah,
Stevie
Big
G,
Sammy.
and
Jamie
Jamie
Carragher.
Carragher. Beautiful. Some great names there. Some big
Yeah.
smiles. 8.5 from Hendo tonight. You could still hear his communication,
really.
even with the sound effects.
Yeah.
You can still hear it. And that's what I love to see. There was a beautiful clip that went out on the Liverpool socials, which you've all seen, I'm sure, where he is shouting left, right, and rhubarb what the players need to be doing from centre back as well. And you know what? Maybe because he's in centre back, this is a position that he could go to later on in his career. And also, he must be able to see more of the pitch back there than in the midfield. So, Welford, that could be one for the future for Hendo.
Yeah, definitely. Gary Neville said that further on. I think he's still great in midfield, and he's still got a couple of seasons left in there. But definitely at the back, as you said, he sees the game a lot, and obviously being a captain, being a leader is what he is, and he's doing so good of a job over the past couple of years. You can definitely see more of the game, and he loves shouting and getting people, telling them what to do, and just praising a lot of people, as we've seen today, and we see on Tottenham. And yeah, he gets to see a lot more of the pitch. I think definitely a good position. I can definitely handle it. He's big, he's quite tall, he knows everything about the game at the back and the midfield. But yeah, great performance by Anderson. Yeah, again, you can always rely on him to drop in there, and he's a great man for his football club. He'll do everything, and he always fights to the end, which you've got to love in your captain.
Totally, absolutely fantastic again from Jordan Henderson in terms of the communication, telling everyone on the pitch where they need to be. Left back tonight, Robertson. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. The first thing I think he did in the game was put an awful corner in that I'm just fed up, to be honest, of seeing Robertson try and take corners. I mean, whether you want the in swinger or the out swinger, that's up for debate. I'm quite easy with both. But for goodness sake, I mean, listen, we won. He had a good game in the end. But Robertson, for me, just can't take corners on that side anymore. Numbers for Robbo?
8.
7.
7 from Daz, Theo?
7, 7, yeah.
7, yeah, we'll go for a 7 there tonight, Robbo. Not awfully challenged there on that right hand side. I thought maybe Antonio and Ben Rama would have given him a few more issues, but obviously did well. In the midfield, then James Milner started tonight. The first time in a long time that he's had to play 2 games in 3 days. I'm pretty sure of it. 35-year-old comes off after 65 minutes for Curtis Jones. Numbers for Millie?
7.5, class again.
Yeah, 7.5 too. That's
7.5.
Yeah, 7.5 is all round. Another one in midfield then was Ginny. Obviously, beautiful performance, but also scored the 3rd goal to dead off the game. Numbers?
8.5, 8. Yeah, he's very good. Got an easy finish, but yeah, again, so consistent, so good.
Yeah.
Finished off that 34 pass move tonight, Ginny Wijnaldum. Beautiful.
Genius
The
from
commentators
Genie.
did actually say he does play in an 8 for Holland and does get more goals for the national team. Plays as a 6 for us, but still pops up with a few. Fair to give him 8.5 all round?
Yeah, happy enough with that. Yeah.
Last one in midfield then tonight was Thiago. I think he's now starting to play the 5, 6, 7 games in a row, and he's really starting to bed himself into that team. And it's just an honour and a privilege every time, Darren, to watch him play.
Yeah,
what
it's
number are
very
you going to
narrow.
give him?
I'm going to give him an 8, and I think just touching on Thiago there, not to keep this too long, it's very, I think, negative and narrow-minded of Sky. Brought up a couple of times that he's slower and he's a different type of midfielder than what we had, and you know what I mean? But I think he has everything that our midfielders have had in the past and currently have, but a little bit better. And what I mean by a little bit better is he has that kind of eye on a sixpence, a bit like what Coutinho and Xabi Alonso had for us. So I think he enhances us. But look, I mean, who am I when I'm competing here with experts like Neville and Tyler?
That's another great performance from Thiago, I think.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him get a goal, I can't lie. It really would be nice to see Thiago kind of round off these really intrinsic performances with a goal. Yeah, a goal against City would be beautiful. We will speak about City and Brighton to come, but let's finish these. So up front, started tonight, Divock Origi put himself about. He had a couple of similar chances where he's rushed at it, tried to beat the keeper on the near post. Very unlikely that you would do that from that kind of angle. I mean, 6.5. Is that all right?
I'd say 7.
Yeah, I think 7. I think he done okay, Div. Just if he'd have got a goal, he would have got more. But I think he done okay tonight.
Yeah, all right. We'll give him a 7 then, Divock. The Shaq started the game and wasn't really hugely involved until right before he came off. He was subbed off there for Bobby in the end, and I think the pass alone for him to set up Salah for his second goal tonight. I mean, that was a 10 out of 10 pass. But what number would you give Shaq tonight? Started
7.5.
7.5, I think, is fair, lads.
Yeah, great ball.
Yeah,
great comment if you think anything different, but 7.5. And then Mo Salah. I mean, could have got a hat trick tonight. Darren, what would you give Mo?
9.5.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, 9.5.
2 beautiful goals as well. Very good goals. A team goal and a Mo Salah goal for both of them. Just really, really good goals. And I think he really needed that. Not scored in 6, but he's still top of the leaderboards in the goals, and he can have a little break from scoring. But yeah, especially to be the only one out there front three, as they say, he's just proven all the haters wrong yet again, and needs a lot more credit from everyone around the world, including our own fans as well sometimes.
Agreed. Only 19 goals away now from Ryan Giggs' tally of 109, and apparently he's going to do it 491 games fewer. So that's pretty something. Unbelievable. Jurgen Klopp tonight, what would you give him out of 10? You could see how much the goals meant to him. 9 out of 10
as well.
Because as I said, I don't know if I said, but I didn't really like the team. I thought Firmino definitely should have been in there. I would have put Minamino over Origi, but he proved me wrong big time. And the 2 players that he put in had a little bit of an impact, especially Shaqiri with that pass. And for me, I was a bit shaky when I first seen it, and then I looked at their team, and they've got a very, very good, solid team. Every single area is just fully strengthened. Klopp really, and the substitutions again, as someone mentioned earlier on in the stream, they're very, very on point, and they had impacts on the game yet again. Firmino getting an assist, and so did Curtis Jones. So 2 great subs.
Yeah, I was just waiting on Majestic Mo tonight to get a hat trick, and if there being fans there, the top would have come off like he did against United, and that freak physique would have been on display. So I'm just a little bit disheartened that I didn't get to see that tonight, because what a man! I mean, he's body like a temple and all that. It's good to see someone look after themselves, but he backs it up with goals and performances.
Yeah, beautiful tonight in terms of the substitutions from Jurgen. He got them all spot on, to be honest with you, and you can't really grumble anything about his selection when he, produces a result like that. You just can't. Red Sox fan says Mane's best season equals Salah's worst season. Fact. No. Not too sure about that one.
You mate.
No.
Northred says anything on how serious or not Mane's knock is. I mean, obviously serious enough to keep him out tonight. Let's look forward then to this next week. I'm going to ask all of you the same question. Big game against Brighton on Thursday night. 3 Thursdays in a row we will have played now. And that is a huge game. And this is the type of game that so often this season we've drawn or lost at home to likes of Burnley and these kind of guys. Theo, if we can beat Brighton and we can beat City And let's not lie, we could actually go top by the end of Sunday if City mess up their midweek game. Obviously, we hope that we're not going to do that. We're kind of counting that as 3 points, which we shouldn't really. It's obviously just lost at home to Burnley. But if we can get another 6 points out of these 2 games leading into the Champions League, you're laughing, aren't you?
Yeah, and personally, I think we will go and get 6 points. I think we'll want revenge on Brighton for us getting robbed last when we went to the Amex. But I think we will win there. And then City, they never seem to do well at Anfield. I can't remember the last time where they when they won at
2003.
2003, yeah. Aguero never scored either at Anfield.
Yeah, I just can't see them getting a result at Anfield. And I think going in our Champions League, hopefully we will be top of the league. But it's a lot to ask of City to drop points midweek. But you know, in this season, anything can happen, really.
Yeah, Welford, huge game on Thursday night. I don't think Matip or Fabinho will be around. I think they might be saved for the game against Man City. I mean, have you heard anything about Jota? I mean, when are we gonna maybe see him back, Welford?
Not too much on Jota. I think he's close to return. I'd say give it about 2 to 3 weeks, and you might be seeing a little bit more information on the deadline where he could definitely be back playing or at least training. But yeah, next 2 games are big. I think you won't see Fabinho or Mane. There's no point risking them. I don't think we will see them for such a big game. But big 3 games after the Brighton game. But Brighton has to be a win. No messing around. I don't care how we get the win. If it's a last minute winner, if we get lucky with VAR, I don't care. We need to win that game. And then that City game is massive. City have been a great team. They've won like 8 on the bounce. But I feel like for me, Liverpool will know how important that game is to make the gap only 1 point if we both win our next game in midweek. To make that 1 point is massive. I know they'll probably have a game in hand, but I feel like as Theo said, this season is mad, and every single team gives every single team over every game is such a battle between 2 teams, no matter if it's in the relegation zone, as we've seen the worst team in Premier League history, Sheffield United, getting them 3 points at Old Trafford, one of the best teams in the league this season. It just shows how mad it is. So I feel like for me, the next 2 games are massive, and I can see us getting 6 points because I think Liverpool will know how big City is to close the gap and not let them run away with it. But yeah, I can see 6 points out of the next 2 games. Well, fingers crossed we can get 6.
Darren, I'll be speaking to you all on Thursday night after that Brighton game, and if we win that, we obviously go into Sunday as favourites, I would say. I mean, City haven't won for so long, 17, 18 years now. It's been since they picked up anything at Anfield. And if we know a team to beat at Anfield, it's Man City.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. It's 18 years since they've last got a win there. And actually, I think Brighton game is Wednesday night, isn't it? I don't want to be controversial there by saying that, but I think it is. I think it's Wednesday night, yeah. So that gives us a little bit more recovery, focus, concentration for City then, which is 4 days after it. It's a huge game. I mean, when we play Brighton, particularly at home for some reason, it's always a tight encountered game. We don't really slaughter them. I remember a couple of seasons ago, we went to Brighton and Coutinho, I think, got a hat-trick and we beat them. Was it 5-0 or 5-1? And even when we would go there, we seem to sometimes get a better result we do at home. Wasn't it Alisson sent off last season? When we beat Brighton and Man City actually that day went to Newcastle and drew 1-1, and I think we went 11-12 clear that day. And I remember there was a mate up with me watching it, and I said to him, "This is the day now where Liverpool will win." I think we went just too far ahead. We had City coming up, and then we beat them a couple of weeks after that. But I mean, look, it's City, lads, that we have to be realistic this season. They have been better than us. They've been getting more points. I would be really pleased with 4 points over our next 2. I'm not going to lie. I think we'd be realistic at the same time. Last week, we were all in a different place. Last Sunday, I was on here when we lost United, even though it was a good performance than we are now. So 6 points is definitely is something we can do and we can go for. But I wouldn't be too harsh on getting 4 points. But beat Brighton, beat City, and it's all to play for, lads. Then it's really game on.
Yeah, let's obviously take it game by game. The next 2 are huge this week, and then we can change our focus a little bit to competition football again in the Champions League. But Theo, Darren, Welford, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Another huge away win for Liverpool, Alex. In the capital, only the 3rd win of the season. They've all been in London, and there's been 14 goals scored away in the Premier League at London clubs this season. brilliant performance from the lads. Fantastic to see them back up there on form. Let's hope it continues. Please do go and follow Theo, Welford, Darren. We will see you very soon back on the Kop TV tomorrow. On Tuesday, so we've got Kop Bins episode 2 coming out with Hugh Izzy. So do keep an eye out for that. We'll also have Top of the Kop and Kop to Bottom as well before the game on Wednesday. But yes,
we've just had a bid accepted there for Ben Davis from Preston as well. Sorry, bit of breaking news. 2 million bid accepted. Yeah,
bid accepted. Preston. I mean, how much do we know about Ben Davis?
Don't know about him, to be honest.
He's quick.
Listen, Reddy tweeted saying fee of 2 million agreed. The 25-year-old's availability, affordability, age, ability and possession, recovery pace, and added function as a left back marked him as a good quick fix to fix Liverpool centre back crisis. James Redmond's just put 2 eyebrow emojis on the Paul Joyce tweet that says yes, they have agreed a fee for 2 million. Apparently with Sepp van den Berg moving there on loan. We'll see about that one. Looks like it's happening, and he will undergo his medical checkup in the morning.
Apparently.
There you go. Love to see that.
That was that rocket I sent last week, Alex. That was the rocket I sent up. NASA went up to Boston last week. 2 million, lads. We need it, and now he's in. So you can all thank me for that.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Right, lad. Thank you so much for coming on. Really
have a good one, lads. All the best.
Liverpool win again, and we'll see you in the Take care.